It's hard to believe that it's been 2 years since the Nintendo Switch launched. It feels like only yesterday it was still called the NX, and every day I would wait to hear about it. But now that the Switch has been out for 2 years, I thought it would be a great opportunity to look back and reflect on the 2 years the Switch has been out. I was one of the lucky few to have the Switch since day one. I had to wait 4 hours at a Walmart to get it, but since it was a 24-hour Walmart, we got to sit indoors and everyone was super cool and pretty much all of us went out with the Switch that night. I got Zelda at Walmart that night, and I also got Super Bomberman R the next day at Target. I wasn't super into Zelda at the time, so that's why I also got Bomberman, but after an hour into Zelda, Bomberman was a distant memory. I absolutely love Breath of the Wild, and it was the first Zelda game that I really got into. I'm sure you've all heard about how great it is by now, and despite the launch lineup being small, I'd take quality over quantity any day. Breath of the Wild is a pretty massive game that'll last quite a while, and was a great game to launch the Switch with. But after nearly 2 months, we got the next big release, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. At the time, Mario Kart 8 was still fresh in my mind, and I was really excited to play it, not only because of the improved battle mode, but also because the Switch is portable too. June of that year is when I went to Greece, and having the Switch with me during the downtime in the afternoon, and during the long flights, kept me busy. And for the rest of 2017, things went really strong. We not only got so many great games that year, but the releases were consistent. We had Splatoon 2 in July, which I think launched with a good amount of content, and I had a good time with. Then in August we got Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which to my surprise was an excellent game. Yeah, I know it's made by Ubisoft, but it is a Mario game. It took the concept of a Mario & Rabbids crossover and actually made it work. But the biggest game of 2017 by far for me was Super Mario Odyssey. Words cannot describe how hyped I was for the game. Ever since it was revealed, it was on my mind every day to the point where it was almost painful to think about. I was waiting months to play it, and it truly seemed like it was the Mario game of my dreams. But finally, October 27th came, and it was everything I wanted it to be and more. It's not only my favorite Switch game, but my favorite game ever. 2017 was a fantastic start for the Switch, and it ended with a bang with Super Mario Odyssey. So naturally, I expected 2018 to deliver as much as 2017 did. But the question is, did it? 2018 was mixed to say the least for me. There were a lot of good games that year, but most of the ones I really liked were either third-party games or Wii U ports. But a majority of the major titles released that year didn't really resonate with me. Kirby Star Allies was the first release of 2018 that was first party, and I'm sorry, but I did not like this game. It was so easy to play, it wasn't even fun, and it was so lacking in content, I got bored of it within 2 weeks, and I haven't touched it since. Coming off the Amazing Planet Robobot, I expected a lot more, but it just didn't deliver. But oh well, not every game can be a home run. Then a few months later, Mario Tennis Aces came out, and I was eager to play it since I like Mario sports games, and the advertised adventure mode was coming back. But that was a disappointment for me as well. The gameplay was excellent, but the lack of content was pretty offensive in my opinion, and like Kirby, I didn't touch the game after a few weeks, and actually ended up selling it. 2 games in a row were disappointing, so I didn't buy another first-party game until Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And from what I've heard about Super Mario Party and Pokemon Let's Go, the reception to those has been pretty mixed. But then in December we got Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Having the game be announced and released in 2018 was surprising to say the least, but nevertheless, it was pretty awesome to have a Smash game that early into the Switch's life. And as always, Sakurai and his team did a great job. It's my favorite Smash game, and I'd say it ended off 2018 very well. I'll admit most of the first-party games that year weren't great, but looking back I understand a little more why 2018 turned out the way it did. The Wii U was a disaster for Nintendo, and for the Switch to do well, the first year had to be really strong. That's why 2018 consisted of mostly ports and smaller games with only 2 huge games coming out towards the end of the year. And for Let's Go being a huge game, that's debatable, but it's Pokemon and that always sells well, so that's why I mentioned it. I also attribute that to why Kirby and Mario Tennis and Super Mario Party were rushed and unfinished. Kirby and Mario Tennis did have updates that added content, but personally, I lost interest in both games before anything substantial was added. I don't think that practice is okay releasing a game and finishing it later, but I feel like it was either having rushed games or no games at all, and from a business perspective, I see why Nintendo had to put something out. But the good news is, 2018 is over with, and it ended off with a bang with Super Smash Bros., and 2019 is looking beautiful for the Switch. We got Yoshi's Crafted World coming later this month, which looks like it could be great if the demo is anything to judge by. Super Mario Maker 2 this June, which is absolutely huge. And of course, Luigi's Mansion 3, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Animal Crossing, and Link's Awakening coming later this year. And that's just about the games we know about. 2019 is still young, and we're probably going to get even more games. So in conclusion, the Switch has had a pretty good life so far. Even though 2018 was a lighter year, the fact that we're getting so many games this year honestly makes the wait worth it for me. But the best thing about the Switch era is Nintendo's great communication with the fans. They are actually listening to the fans when it comes to most things, and even though the games don't always turn out great, it's a huge step in the right direction. 2017 gave us the first open world 3D Mario game in 15 years. And although it wasn't that great, Super Mario Party was indeed a step in the right direction. The roster in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and even things as small as slopes in Super Mario Maker 2, go to show that Nintendo has a new attitude when it comes to fan feedback, and I couldn't be happier. So 2 years in, and this future for the Switch is looking great, and I think we're on one heck of a ride for the future. Anyways, thanks for watching, and keep calm and da-da on.